Well, rumors of the demise of the Detroit Lions offense under new offensive coordinator Johnny Morton are greatly exaggerated, as we saw this Sunday afternoon at Ford Field. 52-21 winners they were over the Bears in their home opener. And we're going to talk all about it here on Bleav in Lions. I'm Trevor Thompson, joined by GQ Glover Quinn, the former all-pro safety of the Detroit Lions. He's on the other end of the line. And Glover, obviously a lot different than what we saw in week one. What sticks out to you with your initial thoughts on their first home win of the season, their first win in 2025?
Man, there's a few things that stick out to me. For one, obviously the way they started the game. They started the game completely different. The energy was different. You could feel it in the building. And I said it last week. The fans are going to be there. It's the home opener. It's homecoming. The fans are going to be there. The team has to come out and match that energy and give them something to continue to cheer about. And the way they started the game, they were aggressive from the get-go. Come out, play action pass. Last week they started out running the ball and getting behind in the chains. Why? Because everybody's geared up to stop Jahmyr. We play action this week. We get the first down, the first play of the game on the play action pass to Amon. That starts to loosen those guys up. They're taking shots down the field. I know they had it incomplete to Jameson Williams, but you're taking those shots. That lets the Chicago Bears know that you can't lock in and try to pack everybody in here on us because we're going up top. And eventually, guess what? They get the shot to Jameson Williams. Jahmyr Gibbs starts to get more space underneath. So all those little things go into it. The run game opens up. Next thing you know, the pass game is there. The play action game is there. That's what they feed off of. Jared Goff comes in, 5 touchdown passes, 3 of them to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Beautiful day.
511 yards of total offense for the Lions today. Great game by Jared Goff. 23 of 28 for 334 yards and those 5 TDs you just mentioned. And on the ground, Jahmyr Gibbs goes off for 94 yards and a touchdown. David Montgomery gets in the end zone, too, off of 57 yards and a couple of touches there in the red zone. The red zone offense looked a lot better today. The defense looked better today. Your boy Kirby Joseph with a pick today. Just everything, top to bottom, both sides of the ball look completely different, and they look different at home as well. When you look at the rest of the offense, you look at the running game, you look at David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs back there, and you look at the catches made by the wide receiver stretching the field. This is what we came to expect from the Lions offense under Ben Johnson. This is what Johnny Morton provided here in game one at home. Now, how do you build on that momentum and keep it going?
Well, you got to come out and understand your formula. I mean, I've said it for years. Jared Goff's formula is the run game. You have to get the run game going, but sometimes you have to use the pass to get the run game going. So today they use the passing game to get the run game going. Next week it may be a totally different formula, but at the end of the day, they got to stick to that run game so Jared Goff can get easy completions, wide open guys off the play action pass. We saw that today. John Morton was fired up. He put up 50-some points on Ben. I knew that's what they wanted to do. I said it last week. If they can put up 50, he's going to want to do it, right? Because everybody gets a little excited. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are excited to play against Ben. We know that. The defense was fired up, like you said. Kirby came through, capitalized on a big mistake by Caleb Williams, and Brian Branch makes a play, getting a helmet on the ball. You got to have your 2 playmakers, especially from the safety position, making plays, getting turnovers. You had that today. And then Aiden Hutchinson getting back in on the sack. The Lions have 4 sacks defensively. So, you know, when those guys are playing like that, they're flying around, they're getting turnovers, they're going to be tough to beat. But they got to do that consistently. They got to be able to take that week in, week out, go back and say, okay, what did we do different week 2 that we didn't do week 1? Why did we come out so much better in week 2 as opposed to week 1? Well, we need to repeat that for week 3 and repeat that for week 4. You have to come out and play at that level. And we see if they come out and play at that level, they're a tough team to beat.
You know, we talked about the FanDuel odds rolling into this one last week, GQ, and it was coming up 47.5 was the over-under midweek. At game time, they even lowered it to 46.5 before kickoff today, and the Lions put up 52 on their own. So certainly they surprised the odds makers with what they came out with offensively here. How surprised were you with just how much they did open up the playbook? I know you wanted to see that, but how surprised are you with what you did see in the way they executed?
I mean, I was pretty surprised, but like I said, once you start to open up some things, things open up. You go into the game feeling like the game could go a certain way, right? We feel like we're going to have some opportunities, different things that we can do. And then sometimes the game dictates whether you can do those things or not. Well, when you're leading, you're staying ahead in the sticks, you're going to open up that playbook even more. And the guys are comfortable at home. The crowd is quiet when you're at home, so you can communicate all your checks, all your protections. You could do all that good stuff. And so when you're taking those shots early in the game and they're not turned into turnovers, you're okay with that because they're still loosening that defense up. And so I was surprised for them to come out and put up 52 points, but we knew they got that capability. We knew they have that kind of capability to
Yeah.
score. And I mean, I don't even think Sam Laporta was that much involved today. Obviously, Tesla come through with another great catch. Um, but I think they got more in the tank. I mean, Amon had a great game today, but I think they got more firepower that they can consistently perform this way offensively. No, I'm not saying they're going to score 52 points every week, but I think consistently they can perform at this level, and it could be a different guy each week.
Your end of the line is breaking up here, GQ, but I do want to move on to the next question here. And it goes back to the FanDuel odds. They were giving 4.5 coming into this one midweek. By kickoff, they were giving 6.5. Obviously, the odds makers, they were blown away by that one too with the point spread on this one. Not even close with the point spread. But when you look at what Kelvin Shepherd's defense did to stymie Ben Johnson's offense in this one, what were the keys to sustaining and I guess just derailing that Bears offense other than Rome Odunze?
I mean, I feel like he let the guys do what they do best. I feel like we didn't see as much fire zone. We didn't see Aiden Hutchinson dropping in coverage much. We saw him getting after the quarterback, and we were able to get 4 sacks from that defensive line. Your playmakers came through and play. Terry Arnold, he started out slow in man coverage, giving up some passes to Dunze. But that's going to happen when you're playing against elite wide receivers and elite offenses. So, but the playmakers came through, got a big fumble from Brian Branch. And we didn't get Jonathan Vilma. Hey, man, the man's name is not Dion Branch. He called him Dion Branch like 4 times in a row. And I can't believe that nobody in his ear corrected him that his name is not Dion Branch. His name is Brian Branch. Okay, so he had a big forced fumble. Got the guys going, and Kirby Joseph come back, get an interception, get a touchdown off of that. Those are big plays that happen that help us out defensively.
Well, there's no doubt he's made a name for himself in the league, and I'm sure by the end of the season, Jonathan's going to get that one right because this Lions team is going to be heard from all season long. The fans, you talked about how much they can certainly support this team at home and the difference that they can make. They came out, they were booing Ben Johnson when he came onto the field. They were giving something to cheer for from the opening drive on. What was your sense of the energy in the building and what the fans provided for this team at home in Game 1 at Ford Field this season?
Electric, and we knew that it's the first home game. Like I said, it's homecoming. Sorry I couldn't be there. I was traveling back from Vegas. I was at the fight last night. It's a great fight. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but the fans were awesome, man, and we knew that they were ready to provide that energy. And the Lions came out, and I felt like they fed off of it. They fed right off of it, and they gave the Lions fans what they expected to see. And I think that was a good thing, bouncing back from last week, going on the road. And so now, after 2 weeks, you start to say, okay, well, Green Bay had 2 good performances at home, and they got 2 wins. The Lions had a subpar performance on the road, came back and had a good performance at home. So now, over time, we're going to see who really is this Lions team and who really is this Packers team. Can the Packers go on the road and
Right.
continue to play like that? And can the Lions continue to play like that? And we'll see. They got to come back to Detroit at some point in the year. But right now, the NFC North is off to a good start.
You and I are going to get together later in the week and do a more in-depth preview on next week's upcoming game, Monday Night Football against the Baltimore Ravens. But you talk about being at the fight last night. That was one heck of a fight. At Ford Field today, not quite the fight we expected with that 4.5-point spread coming in. Turned out to be a blowout. But next week in Baltimore on Monday Night Football, that's going to be a heavyweight battle. The Browns were beaten today by the Ravens. 41-17 was the score in that one. So Baltimore opened up their playbook and ran up the score against the Browns. Lions did the same. What's your expectation for Monday Night Football? We've talked about this schedule, how tough it's going to be going forward. This is a huge matchup against one of the favorites to get to the Super Bowl this year. Your thoughts on this one as we just take a quick look ahead to week 3?
I think it's going to be like you said, it's going to be a heavyweight fight. I think the Lions going to have to come out and they're going to have to play their game. They haven't played well against Baltimore in recent games. So I would look for them to be ready to go out on national TV. I know the last week's game was a big game. I don't know if it was a national TV game. It was a 425 game. But this right here is Monday Night Football under the bright lights against the Baltimore Ravens team that's coming in hot off a big victory this week as well. So it's going to be a heavyweight fight. The Lions are going to have to show up offensively and defensively. But they're going to have to win the game in the trenches. You know the Ravens are going to try to run the ball behind Derrick Henry and that big offensive line. You know that. So we're going to have to stop him. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is going to be Lamar Jackson. So it's going to be a huge task for them defensively to stop those guys. So the Lions offense is going to have to make it very difficult for the Ravens to stop them as well. And let's get ready, for a heavyweight slugfest. I don't know if last night was a slugfest that I was expecting, but nevertheless, it was a great performance by Bud Crawford. And I would hope to see a great performance by the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, for some of us who I watched on TV, certainly wasn't there like you were, about being in the crowd live. What was the energy like in Vegas last night for that fight?
Man, it was great. It was incredible. You got the Bud supporters, you got Canelo supporters, and it was election. That was my first time ever going to a fight. You know what I'm saying? It's the first time ever going to a fight.
Okay.
But it was cool, man. It's just being in the arena, and it's a big arena. It was in Allegiant, so it's a big arena. So the arena starts to fill up. You feel the energy. They're showing all the stars on the big screen, and everybody's going crazy. And then Crawford comes out, Canelo comes out. The thing that got me last night, and I was kind of looking forward to it. They didn't sing the national anthem last night. I don't know if I've ever saw a big fight on pay-per-view and they did not sing the national anthem. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. I don't know why they didn't do it, but that didn't happen last night.
Never thought of it.
Never happened. So, but nonetheless, it was a great fight. It was a big win for Bud. Congratulations to him. Canelo has been a great fighter for some time, so it was good to see two legends get together in the ring.
Yeah, a big win for Bud Crawford last night. A big win for the Detroit Lions at Ford Field in week 2 to get their first win of a brand new season. They'll try to get that momentum rolling in week 3. Glover Quinn and I will be here to break it all down for you on Bleav in Lions, brought to you by FanDuel a little bit later in the week. So tune in for that. Be sure to like and subscribe to Bleav in Lions wherever you watch your podcast and on YouTube. And we'll look forward to seeing all of you midweek for our week 3 preview, Bleav in Lions. Check you guys out then. Thanks for tuning in.